Welcome to the Quick Stop Formula One podcast. My name is Nyasha, and you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. We appreciate that. Joining me, as ever, from a freaking gym in America, it's none other than Thandie Sabada. Jesus Christ. She's in a gym. Cannot believe it. What's going on, Thandie? You're right.
I'm good. I was just at the pool, actually, to be
Just
fair.
at
And then
the
these
pool.
lot were like, you can't record from the pool because it's an echo. But I
Yeah.
would have loved to shown everyone the cool pool. I'm good. We could have joined you anywhere from around the world, and here I am.
Yeah, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you are in DC at the pool. I am in Tottenham in my house. Not as glamorous. Thandie, we got a very special guest back on the show today. Man, like, hey, let me tell you now, 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, yeah? Plus, yeah?
Talk to him.
This guy, he's done a new thing. We had Tomo on. He's doing a new thing with Tomo on. Live fast. That's what the thing's called.
There we go.
That's what it's called. This guy, he's one of the greatest YouTube content creators. This guy's got a voice like butter. I'll tell you now.
Butter.
Most likely the greatest
That's why we like you on
content
here.
creator on the planet. Man, like Aldas.
I mean, you're bigging me up. I forgot how this feels. I remember last time. I thought, there we go. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. Oh my days. How am I supposed to live up to that intro, Nyasha? I mean, it's just mental. But I would just like to clarify this right from the beginning. Because we know what happened in this race. We know exactly who's on the podium. And I just want to make it clear right now. I did not jump into like Nyasha's DMs and say, bro, get me on the podcast. Like, this is the one. We've set this up for like a few weeks now. Like, I was going to come on the Qatar one. And I mean, the race went how it went. I mean, I'm not saying like it was in God's hands, but that's how it is, mate. That's how it is.
It's mad. Alonso has done what he's done, and I'm sure we'll get to
You did what you did, yeah.
And if you guys don't know, or you know that we're maybe had some words for Alonso this season.
I've been hearing them. I'm all hearing, mate. I've been hearing them, no doubt about it.
and Aldas is a very big Alonso fan. You know,
I didn't wear the jacket though. I didn't wear the jacket. Not too much.
Didn't wear the jacket.
But actually, show us the Danny Rick merch though. It's looking.
Oh yeah.
You got the Danny Rick merch. I've been looking for that.
There we go. Can you see that?
Amazing.
That looks so good.
Aldas, you need to drop the link, or else they'll come.
It's on his website. Only the best for the best. You know, I had to come prepared.
Yeah. I like that.
Really appreciate
Shipping was like 30 quid though. Oh my days.
I was going to say.
From Australia?
It's from like Australia. Yeah, shipping was like, this only cost like 60 quid or something. Like it wasn't that bad, but the shipping was just extortion. It was mental.
I can imagine. But you know what? We drip or drown. You gotta, you know what I mean? Like, there's a cost to this shit.
And on this podcast, they come for you if you do not put the link to clothing.
Yeah.
I'll drop. Don't worry. I'll drop it.
They're very vigilant.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's not go back into that. But look, we are here to firstly tell you guys to subscribe and like the video. I always forget to do that. Aldous, you're a big YouTuber. Does that make a difference?
It does. To be fair, it does. If you tell people to do it, like you can see in the analytics, but. Yeah. God, getting called a big YouTuber, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, we're all on the same level. Don't worry about that.
We're all on the same level in life, like, spiritually. But, if we're talking about clout, you've got a bit more clout than us, and that's fine. We're happy to see that clout. But you're a great guy. We just love having you on. Hence why
I'll share it out. Don't worry about that. I'll share it out.
That's all we'd want. But we're here to review a interesting Qatar Grand Prix.
Interesting one.
Qatar Grand Prix. Before I get to you, Aldas, Thandie, did you manage to watch it? What were your general thoughts?
So, do you know what? I've been going on at all the Americans. Like, what time did you guys watch it? Oh my gosh, the Americans are living in the trenches when it comes to Formula One.
Well, then
it's so early for them.
Wait, what time was it for you?
I think I woke up around 11 and I didn't manage to see the start, but I managed to see the second half of it. So that means it must start around 10 o'clock, 9 a.m.
Oof, fair play.
Yeah. So big up all the Americans that actually get up and watch Formula One. But yeah, great race. I watched the end. It was great. I loved it.
Fair play.
I did laugh and giggle a bit, like, oh shit, I did say all that stuff last week.
You've been calling him Severus Snape. Like,
you know what, though, Nyasha? You haven't watched Harry Potter. Severus Snape is actually a good guy.
I've never seen.
He's actually a good guy.
I've not read a single page.
Yeah.
No.
Oh my god! I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I've read the book, but I've seen all of the movies. I can't believe it, mate.
Really? Everyone keeps saying that to me, yeah, and I just I never got round to it. And then, like, once you get a bit older, I feel like, you know what it's like, yeah? I never saw Cool Runnings until I was like 21, and everyone's like, "You've got to see Cool Runnings. You've got to see Cool Runnings." And then you watch it, and you're like, "This is a fucking kids film, bro." Like, do you know what I mean? And like. And I get it. Like, it would have been.
Why have shots just gone towards Cool Runnings? Like, I'm so sorry that you did not enjoy Cool Runnings.
I feel gutted that I did. I had one Disney video. This is mad, yeah. I had one Disney video, two when I was a kid. I had two. Yeah, I had the Lion King, and I had the Little, which is great, and I had the Little Mermaid. Those are the two Disney, and like, do you know, I was just like,
this is all making a lot of sense now, though, isn't it? Like, now that you know Nyasha, you know that his childhood was deprived of only the Mermaid and the Lion King. It really, you can tell.
You
can see it was rough. It was rough. We're seeing the build up. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah,
we're seeing it. We're seeing it.
Explains a lot.
Hold on 2 seconds. I'm just going to pause this. Not good. Second teams. We will see if there was any. I'm going to have to see what's happened there.
Little technical difficulties.
Yep. Wouldn't be quick stop without them. But yeah, Thandie, do you?
Yeah, I was just about to go on.
What are your thoughts on? Before you go into it, I was going to say I didn't think it was Team Orders, but then I watched it again today, and I just think that it's bait as fuck. Like, it's bait.
That was the most.
And I kind of feel like, you know how Yuki tried to get out of the way in Mexico.
Talk about it. He's getting it. It's clicking.
I just feel like the way Gasly got just went wide. I haven't seen someone go wide in that corner like that. I mean, I don't know. I watched practice and I don't know. It's just not normal. But his tires are fucked. But let's say that they are doing a madness. What are your thoughts?
Okay, this is confirming everything I've been saying. There's a Red Bull theory. It's a big conspiracy. But I'm not crazy because every week they keep confirming everything that I've been saying. So the fact that you touched on that Yuki Tsunoda incident just confirms that there's now a code being used. Codes are used all the time. We know this. Lewis even speaks in code. We've known this for time. But we need to now have a set of rules. We need to sit down with the stewards and be like, is this actually allowed and to what extent? And what the fuck do those codes mean?
Talk your shit.
There we go. Yeah, we saw it coming.
Shit. Huh?
Because
what are the codes?
What are the codes, bro?
What are the codes?
We need to see. We need to know what they are. Like,
we need to know
this
what
can't
they
go
are.
down.
This can't go down because it's so bait, and I don't understand how it took you a second look to then say this is bait. Because I literally said, "Oh, for fuck's sake, you're ruining my Sunday." You're ruining my Sunday.
Where were you watching it? Were you watching it by the pool?
They're gonna put me on the no-fly zone. I know it. Trust. I'm not coming back.
It's you know what, Thandie? You're not. You know what? Yeah. The thing is, our friend Mutza. I remember when I was talking to her about you, and I was like, she goes off, man, and I laugh at her, but then she's always right. She's always right, and like
Mutza once called me a prophetess of madness.
You're a prophetess of madness.
I hear
that's
fire. That one. I like
he said sometimes you speak in code.
Yeah,
the code will make sense. One day when you're in the shower or you're in bed, you'll be like, "That's what she was talking about."
I think that it is not fair, especially like look. And the thing is, Aldas, you're right. They didn't need to do it. Like the pace Verstappen had over pretty much 18 other cars in the field was ridiculous. The way he was he was cutting through the field. Obviously, cut through Alonso. I think the way he went past Alonso showed that he would have more than had enough pace to get past Gasly. I think they didn't need to even say anything. And the fact that they did, I think, shows that there was obviously an understanding. I think there was, look, I guess I'm just playing devil's advocate. Even if there was never, and of course there was, because Helmut Marko can't keep his mouth shut. Anyway, let alone...
But that just then creates like a whole bigger team for them on the grid. And yes, I understand.
Yeah.
You guys have the engine, your sisters. But it now just feels like it's Hamilton and Bottas, just Hamilton, really.
Yeah, just Hamilton.
Versus 4 other people.
It's not fair.
How is that fair?
It's not fair. It's not fair. I think that needs to be looked at. And but it will just kind of add to this season that we're having, which just feels like, I feel like, obviously, how long have you been content creating, Aldas?
To be honest, only for about like 2 years, like, to be honest, and to be honest, only really full time in terms of like started last year. So not even that long. And this season has been just mental. It's
crazy, right? I mean, I feel like obviously I'm feeling everything more, and because I'm watching everything more intently because I have to talk about it, we have to create content and all of that stuff. So we feel it, but I just feel like it's just a madness. Every race, there's something mad going on. You know, these penalties and all this stuff going on. You know, we held a Max Verstappen is penalised party, thinking, hey, this guy's got a 5-place grid penalty, and he's just come back.
He bust case.
He bust case. You know what, man?
We can't beat him.
Michael Masi shut it down. He shut it down quick.
You know what? Yeah, it's okay. I want to talk. You know what? Yeah, actually, I think we can talk about the rest of the race with stars and donkeys. So let's get into stars and donkeys. I'm gonna go with Aldas first because Aldas wants to set it up, and I'm gonna let him set it up. So Aldas, who was the star of the day?
He knows what's coming. He knows what's coming because I'm not going to say the name that everyone like thinks I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it for Nyasha to say it because I want the words to come out of his mouth. So I'm going to leave it to him. Either her. I mean, if Thandie says it, it's even better. To be fair, like three times better. I'm going to go with Sir Lewis Hamilton as my star. I feel like.
Yes.
There we go. You see exactly. There was a lot of pressure coming into this weekend. Every single race now is a pressure weekend because Max is ahead in the championship. Less and less races every single week. So he had to get it done. It was a new track. And by the way, actually, this wasn't even like the crazy Brazil engine that he was running this weekend. They're trying to leave that for the more power circuits, Saudi and Abu Dhabi. So it was a big weekend. He needed to get it done. I feel like, first of all, that quali lap was just sensational because
incredible.
To be honest, I was watching Paul DeResta, who's a big fan of the show. I know you guys are big fans of his as well. He was doing like a little side-by-side analysis of Max and Lewis's lap. And to be honest, like even halfway through, it was pretty close. Like I thought it was going to be just, Lewis all the way. But it was like that second sector and then that last sector where he pulled like almost half a second. I mean, crazy. Biggest gap in the dry all year, all season long. So that was just that lap was just sensational. And I mean, he controlled it like from the beginning, no pressure at all. People were talking about the fact that Pierre Gasly and Alonso on the soft tires, how is that going to play to Lewis's mentality? Is it going to play, is it going to kind of affect him? Absolutely not. I mean, he just controlled it all the way. And I think he'll be annoyed that Max grabbed that fastest lap. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But I did like the fight. To be fair, I like what Toto Wolff said in terms of, in Brazil, they woke the lion. And something I've talked about Lewis is that he has these moments where his back is up against the wall and the pressure is on. Yeah. And he just always seems to deliver, whether it's in qualifying, whether it's in the races. And he's keeping this championship alive. He's been given the car to do the job. There's no doubt that the Mercedes was probably the stronger package, but he did the job. And when you look at the gap as well, by the way, I mean, especially Lewis, but both Max and Lewis, they were on a different planet compared to everyone else. So, yeah, I mean, he did exactly what he needed to do. He goes, I think, 8 points behind now with 2 races to go. I mean, yeah, he's keeping Sir Lewis Hamilton. He's keeping this championship alive. There's no doubt about it.
He's incredible.
He's decent. He's decent.
He's all right, isn't he? He's all right. He's all right. Thandie.
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
I want to ask you something. So obviously, since I'm guessing that this season you've probably followed the season maybe more intensely. I know I have, but followed the season like more intensely than maybe you have in previous seasons. Um, how much has your admiration for Lewis Hamilton kind of changed in any way or grown in any way, kind of watching his performances this season?
So, particularly since being here, everyone's quite baffled that I'm like, I need to watch the race tomorrow. And everyone's like, what is Formula One? Like, what is it? And I'm like, listen, it's a black man being chased around a circuit by a whole bunch of other white people, and you need to watch it. And since being here, I have recruited at least 3 new Formula One fans.
Stop.
What? How is that funny?
You make it sound like, I don't know, man. Especially like to Americans as well. You like talk to Americans like, oh, it's just, they just get a black guy and they get a bunch of white people to chase him around.
Trust. This is the PGA Tour on steads, bro.
Yeah.
This is Usain Bolt and all them, man, times 100. Lewis Hamilton is a superhero that I've been saying for years.
Yeah.
Like, you see people like David Beckham are literally just, they're not asked about who else is on the grid. David wanted to meet Lewis. You see pictures of him, kind of, I saw one of him, like, he was like, it looked like he was taking in the Qatar air to see how he was going to win and how he was going to do it. And I just think it's beyond a race for him, and it's so beyond everything that we think it is. Like, this man is a genius, but he's human. He's human. And I like that about Lewis. So yeah, I'm like Lewis Hamilton's stan account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We definitely are that. I don't think anyone could ever doubt that.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. I'm still not sure. I'm going to make my decision, to be fair. Whether this is like, you know, whether you're Lewis Hamilton fans or not.
That's fine.
Toss of a coin at the moment.
Yeah.
Tell you what, though, on this conversation, this brings me to my kind of star of the day.
Okay.
Yes, Lewis is my star, but I want to give kudos to that robot, that machine that you guys have been feeding spinach and only spinach to Max Verstappen, because whoa. Okay.
This guy.
Whoa.
Crazy.
This guy.
He's really good. He's
really
good. However, don't get too comfortable, darlings. I'm not liking this conversation where you lot 2 champions. The fuck? What are you talking about, Jensen?
Yeah. I think Alonso said it as well. I heard him in the post. He was like, yeah, it's so good being on the podium.
He did, yeah. Even I heard that. I
was like,
2 champions. It's a big conspiracy. See? They keep slipping up.
Chill out, bro. Yeah, even I was like, chill out, Fernando. Like, you know, just
like, relax.
Know what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, Max was like picking out the number 1 a few weeks ago. He was like, I can't wait to have the number 1 on my car.
Look, the thing is, there's a couple of things I want to say. With Max, the reason why after Mexico it felt like, wow, this may not happen. Not that I ever thought that, but I was like, oh, this could be done out. Is just the consistency of this guy, okay, in the longest F1 season in history so far. For him to, so far, finish first or second in every race, other than races where he's had like a first lap incident or retirement and that was due to a puncture from first place.
So actually, really quickly, I'm looking at like the championship standings, and the only time that Max has not finished either first or second was Azerbaijan, where he had a tyre failure, then Silverstone, where he collided with Lewis, Hungary, where Bottas, obviously crashed and kind of skittled everyone, and then Italy, where he also collided with Lewis. Apart from those races, 1-2 the entire season.
And we think about Russia. Where was he on the second to last lap in Russia? He was like maybe 7th or something. And he's just come through in the rain to finish second. we're holding parties thinking, okay, 7 Grace plays grid penalty. Surely this means he's going to finish outside of the top 2. We've got Bottas there as well. Oh, God. What? Look at the possibilities that are open to us. Fucking hell, man. This fucking guy. So, but
we can't beat this guy. We're trying everything.
Can't beat this fucking guy, man. And
you know what? I look at Max sometimes. I just stare at him, and when you look at what's that guy called? The guy who owns Facebook. What's his name?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg. You know that whole Mark. He's starting to look a bit robotic.
He's, bruv.
He does, doesn't he? Yeah. He's got that look.
He's scary.
He's scary.
Android.
Have you ever seen Rocky? Is it Rocky 5? There's a guy in Rocky 5. I'm so old. There's a guy in Rocky 5 called Ivan Drago, basically, and he's just this Russian boxer, and he's just mashing man up, and he's like undefeatable. It's crazy. Rocky does do him over though. I don't know what these men are on, but basically, it's mad. Max Verstappen is great, and I think I put out a tweet, and I think people, I was like, "Wow, this guy's inevitable," and
people thought you were hacked, probably.
People thought I was hacked. Look, guys, all I'm saying is, it is mad that no matter, in the same way with Lewis, no matter what you throw at him, he overcomes it, and no matter what Max seems to get thrown at him, he has overcome it in most ways. Do I think that he's over aggressive in wheel-to-wheel combat with Lewis? Yes. Do I think that his fans, sometimes some of the fans can be absolute pricks? Yes. But I can't be watching this season and watching what this guy is doing and not begrudgingly say he is good, or at the very least, this guy in this package is doing a great job.
He deserves some accolades.
Yeah, some accolades.
Just a tiny bit. Yeah, bro.
You can have a round of applause. You know what I mean? Max Verstappen, you can have a round of applause. I don't want to do it.
I can't believe you just give enough applause.
Bro, I feel, when you start retching, I'm like, fucking hell. But that's Max. I wanted to just touch on Lewis as well. Lewis with the not tribute helmet, but the special helmet livery, advocating for LGBT rights. Obviously, something inside in the Middle East. I think he's doing it for all 3 Middle East races.
Yeah.
And I think that's, again, Thandie talking about, this guy, he's more than just Lewis Hamilton. He's more than a racing car driver, and I think that's incredible what he's doing. Always have to shout out Seb. I think Seb's had a rainbow on his helmet the whole season. I
think he did one in Hungary. Yeah, he did. Hungary was the big one.
Oh, really? Hungary was the big one. But has he had a small one the whole season, or?
I'm not sure if he's had it all season. I think it's only been in specific countries, depending on what the country is. You know what I mean? Because
the reason I say that is because under every post congratulating Hamilton for doing it, there's about 50 tweets Vettel's done it, was it Vettel? So I was like, oh fuck, I didn't know Vettel. I didn't know he did it in Hungary, and that's why I was like, I swear it was just a special delivery. But we know Vettel has been really strong on those issues as well. But all I will say about Hamilton is people want to tweet, they want to say what's he gonna do in Qatar? I bet he'll say nothing in Qatar. And then you know what? He didn't even announce it before he got in the car. He just got in the car. We saw it in practice. We're like, oh, fuck, he's got a new helmet. And then
I couldn't believe it.
And it's just oh, what a guy. And it's because with Lewis, it is, I think people try to talk about him as someone who's not an actions guy, and how you could not think of Lewis as an actions guy when he's put 20 million of his own money into diversifying motorsport from the top all the way down to the bottom, when he's got this thing with George Poet of the t-shirts, and 20 black creatives have been able to design the every part of the poem on these t-shirts, and there's so many
I'm trying to touch that 20 million too, Lewis.
Pardon?
I'm trying to touch that 20 million too, Lewis. You know what I'm saying?
What funny? You're trying to tap into 20 million? I don't know if he's doing a bad B fund. I don't know.
Wow. I am actually a black woman in motorsport. Thank you very much.
That's very true.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't want to disrespect you in Women in Motorsport
Yeah.
Month.
Can't believe it.
I can't believe it. No.
You can't go against Thandie. Never ends well. Never ends well. That's
never
all
ends
I've learned.
Never ends well. Well, look,
Never
you're the
ends
one
well.
trying to X her
The
out of the whole
prophet.
podcast,
Yeah.
Aldas. So
Aldous.
so it's not just me. But she, not you. He's incredible. I think the Met Gala. We can go on and on and on and on and on and on. This guy shows up, shows out, time and time again, and we are. I think I tweeted, we are witnessing history. Like in 10, 20 years' time, 30 years' time, 50 years' time, they're going to look back on this period. Obviously, they'll look back on this season, but they're going to look back on Hamilton, and we're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember watching that. I remember reading that. I remember seeing all this stuff live in real time, and we are truly blessed to be living through this time and living through his wonderfulness this season.
I think actually just to say something about that, like even 2 years ago, none of this was happening. Like drivers had their hands in their pockets and their things in their ears. Like none of this was happening. And the only thing I hope is that Lewis is going to leave in the next like 3, 4, maybe 2 years, whatever. And F1 and some of these drivers need to make sure they carry it over. That's the more important thing, because we know Lewis is the number one guy to speak more. LeBron James, actually, because I'm a big fan of the NBA, he has like a slogan, more than an athlete, and Lewis definitely fits into that category as well. So I want to see more drivers kind of almost carry Lewis's legacy. So that's the only thing I'm worried about, because these drivers without Lewis, without that motivation, without it always being at the forefront at the beginning of every race when they have their time to kind of make their voices heard. I just want to see other drivers do that and carry his legacy.
I think that's I want to give you a round of applause.
Lovely,
for that.
yeah.
That's a really, really, really good point, and it's scary. It's genuinely scary to think of the sport after Lewis. I for a number of reasons. I think I've said before, how many iconic races has Hamilton given us? Like, it is great. I mean, even just this season, you can think of Russia for the 100. You can think of Brazil, last weekend. Even Silverstone. He's constantly giving iconic moments, iconic races. But this whole work that he's done to drag this sport out of the darkness and into the light of social awareness, diversity, it is scary to think, like you say, Aldas, who is going to carry that forward? Who is going to be, the next torchbearer? Who's going to step up? It's there for someone. It's there for multiple people, because it's all there for you. You don't have to set up a Leclerc foundation. You don't have to pester F1 to make sure there's enough time for you guys to do a gesture on the grid. And no, you don't all have to, but at least getting something done. You don't have to get investigated by the FIA for wearing a t-shirt about Breonna Taylor, because he's already done it and they've realized that they were donuts for that. Someone's got to step up. I hope someone does. I don't have much faith. I guess George, I thought it was quite telling actually that George was asked about certain issues in Qatar. Obviously, I think he was next to Lewis in the press conference, and I think he chose to kind of skirt around it and kind of give a non-committal answer. And obviously Lewis was there, and he gave like obviously an eloquent answer as usual. And that's something I think George would be able to learn and to be in close contact with and have that for the next 2 years at least. And
what did he say? Sorry. So what was he asked about? Sorry.
I can't remember correctly, so I don't want to misquote him. But basically, he was asked about the human rights issues in Qatar, basically, and whether F1 should race in Qatar. And he kind of gave
the answer.
Yeah, he fannied out of it basically. But
this is news to me now, and I kind of add into that George. Okay, right. Yeah, it is well.
So yeah, but then Lewis gave a great answer about we're here. Obviously, it's not good that these countries have this. They are making change, but we're here as athletes to like spread messages and help accelerate that process. And it was a good answer, as he always does.
But what is it? Because George is going to Mercedes, and when you go, where that team is now with everything that Lewis has done, it's not just about delivering on the track; it's about delivering off the track in terms of the values that team holds right now. Like with all of like the Accelerate 25 program, in terms of like getting more people into like into the STEM fields to actually be in high positions in Formula One. So George is going to have to get enshrined and kind of. He's going to have to kind of get with the program next year for sure, because Mercedes is more than just what we see on the track.
Yeah, I've literally just had that thought that Mercedes is now a pillar team that is beyond Formula One. It is now a pillar team for maybe the good people, the people who want the athletes who are very pro diversity. They make statements on the grid. I know Vettel did do a little bit for. What did Vettel do? What country was it? Hungary.
Yeah.
Vettel has kind of gone into that, but it is definitely Mercedes and Lewis's kind of push.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that is very interesting that any driver that does take that seat would have to continue that legacy, and I wouldn't argue against that at all.
No, 100%. Okay, time for that part of the show. My star of the day. Fucking hell. Right, okay. Let me tell you now, yeah. I have been watching Formula One since I was 6 years old, okay? But when I first, obviously, Lewis Hamilton, for me, that whole title fight in 2007 with Alonso bred... Also, before, he kind of ended Schumacher's run, and Schumacher was my favourite driver. So I already had him marked for being the guy that finished Schumacher off. And then he comes to McLaren, and then I've got this black driver who's incredible, and then they have the most almighty of fallings out, and then he's got his fans in Spain, and he doesn't really condemn it, and and then obviously, so I've always had him marked, and I have said some things about Alonso on this podcast. I questioned whether he needed to come back. I think one of the first episode we've done on this show, I remember me and Thandie having a conversation about Alonso, and she's like, why is this brother coming back? Like, what is the motivation for this guy coming back? It's all ego. I have not been that kind to him this season, to be fair. But he has actually done, comparative to his car, he's been driving well, and I think I read there's been 13 drivers on the podium this season. He was the 13th driver to go on the podium this season, and he was definitely, out of all the drivers who haven't been on the podium yet, he was the driver who deserves to be on the podium. I think his performances have been good, and I'm going to give Fernando Alonso my star of the day. That I feel sick, but. What a drive! Okay,
can I just say I'm just drinking this in. I mean, this is I'm taking it in. I mean,
like, I love you, Aldas. You are a great guest. The content of today's show has been by far my least favorite. So I would say that some podiums people can luck into them. Through circumstance, last minute, we can think of Carlos Sainz's Brazil podium a couple of years ago. I'm trying to think Gasly's podium in Brazil as well. I can't
Carlos
think of
Sainz's podium in Russia as well, technically, with like all the tire stuff going on.
Oh yes, exactly. So, but obviously there is circumstances with the fact that Bottas's penalty took him down out of the top three. And I guess if Bottas is in the top three, he he probably, or he doesn't have a puncture, he probably does catch Alonso. But pardon me, I'm literally sicking. I'm sicky burping.
He's literally, I mean, I can't even get the words out. It's brilliant. I love it.
Crazy.
In the mud. Oh my God.
I can't believe it. I was like physically retching. But he's there on merit. He qualified incredibly well to put that Alpine there. And Alpine has, looks like it has some, for some reason, looked great around this circuit. Qualified incredibly well. And ran a one-stop strategy as well, right? Risky one-stop strategy. We saw what's happened with people's tires on long stints. He managed to make it work. Got a bit lucky with the VSC. But Fernando Alonso has now, I think, justified his return to Formula One. And Well done to him. You know, you can have a gunshot, Fernando Alonso. Well done.
Give me more. I want to hear it. Come on. Keep that same energy. Keep that same energy.
The apology has to be as loud as the disrespect. And look, oh shit, is that still got off? Yeah, you know, sometimes I had to eat humble pie. I think I made a video about Vettel being finished, and like 2 weeks later, he finished on a podium in Baku. And I had to, I've had to. I think we talked about George Russell, and then he got the podium, and then we've spoken about Ricciardo. We literally said, like, when are we going to start the Daniel Ricciardo conversation? He won in Monza. I took the piss out of Perez, qualifying in 7th. He finished on the podium. I literally am learning that the stronger an opinion you have on someone, the stronger it will come back to bite you in the ass. I have spoken enough. Aldas, I saw that you were close to tears. Why does Alonso mean so much to you?
I think it's because when I started watching Formula One, it was 3 drivers that really got me into it. It was Lewis, it was Seb, and it was Fernando. And like ever since then, we've seen Lewis and Seb in championship-winning cars. Like the fact that Sebastian Vettel, it didn't quite work out at Ferrari. I do get that, but he did have great cars. We always saw him in like podium contending cars. He was always in the right position. Lewis, obviously, he's deserved every single last bit of success that he's had because he took the risk and he made the move. But the reason why I kind of always champion Alonso so much is because he just made a mistake. He went to the wrong team. Now, I will also say, by the way, outside of the car, his character, some of the things he said, I don't always agree with because he's too emotional sometimes. Like, and I literally just made a video about this like today in terms of like sometimes he just says stuff, and especially like about Lewis and stuff because I think he's a bit jealous of Lewis. I think to be fair, I think everyone on the grid.
Yeah,
I know it.
You're getting to the shits now.
Exactly. But look, I think there's so many drivers, and I think all of the drivers on the grid are jealous of Lewis in terms of the car that he's at, the team that he's at, but you don't need to say it. And Fernando does. He's just hook, line, and sinker when it comes to media and anything like that. But outside of some of the things that he said, outside of some of the relationships and, bridges that he's burned, the driver, you could just any car, any situation, you can never tell me that he has been like washed up by a teammate. You can never tell me that he's not delivered to the max of what that car, what the potential of that car is. And then we've seen it again. But again, the reason why he was in those bad positions is he made the mistake of going to McLaren at the worst possible time. He was unlucky in a sense, but I always appreciated the driver and the way he left the sport in 2018. It just wasn't right. So when he kind of came back in when it was announced that he came back and I saw again all of the disrespect and all of the doubt, I kind of wanted to prop him up a little bit. I wanted to support him because this guy's a legend. To me, he's, I rank him behind Lewis, but he's on that kind of Lewis and Seb. Like these 3 guys, they're top 10 in my opinion all time. And I feel like he needed a bit of respect. And I think he's proven a lot of people wrong, but again, I know that he doesn't help himself a lot of the time with some of the things he said, but as a driver, just that, especially on a Sunday, by the way, the guy is so smart in races. Like, I think there was some radio during the race, and he was like, literally, like, he was telling the team that Checo was going to one-stop and go for the fastest lap. Like, he's calling Red Bull's strategy as it's happening. So, I just like to see him race, and I'm happy to see him at least have a little bit of success. I know that he's not going to win another championship. He's probably never going to win another race, but at least it hasn't ended the way it ended with McLaren. So that's why I kind of, I give him his props and I give him his flowers now.
You know what? That was lovely. He almost made me feel sorry for London there. Like,
Stay strong, my brother. Don't fall in it. Don't fall in that.
I'm not quite. Thandie. I guess we did actually talk about Alonso at the top of the piece, but I guess, what are your thoughts on this particular race? I guess, have you, I remember the conversation we were having about Alonso at the beginning of the season, and we had our doubts about him. Do you have those doubts been erased?
I still think he's a prick. Don't get me wrong.
Have some of that.
I still think he's a prick. However, it is quite nice.
She's not wrong, by the way.
It is quite nice for him to get that 13th podium.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And it was nice to see all his team just cheering him on because you could tell they were like, fucking hell. Finally. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, you know what I mean? So it's not like I'm not happy for him, but everything that I have said about Fernando Alonso on this podcast, including some stuff that have been good, I still back.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, 100%. And look, I think for me, yeah. And I think this is the thing. I think for a lot of new fans, you know, there's the whole like Suis thing, and people, you know, people don't understand why I could not like Sebastian Vettel. But you have to understand, like, that run Vettel had between like 09 and 13, was it 10 and 13? Whenever he started, 10 and 13, sorry, was horrible. It was. All the people who are watching Lewis now who don't like Lewis watch it winning every season. We went through that with Sebastian Vettel, and it was not, and it felt like when he won in 2012, it was like, this guy is invincible. I can't believe he's just beat out like the strongest grid I've ever seen. On the last day, he spun around, he was facing backwards, he still won a title, and in 2013, he just dominated, and, you know, 4 titles in a row, and it always felt.
Okay. So I'm going to ask both of you.
Yeah.
Vettel, Alonso. They're both cheeses, yeah? But you know how cheese matures and becomes stinky?
What? They're both what?
They're both cheese, yeah?
Cheese, as in cheese?
Yeah.
Like cheddar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this like Ted Kravitz? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
What's going on there? What's going on here?
Yeah.
I know what she's trying to ask. I know what she's asking.
Who is stinking up the grid the most?
I think Vettel. You don't have to fucking ask me twice. Don't ask me twice. Vettel is some frigging Stilton that you forgot about in your bag, and you've left it in the back of your car.
Okay, but I'd put Alonso, because I have been saying that he's been stinking up the grid. I now say Alonso is that really posh. He's kind of like blue cheese. I like blue cheese.
You like blue cheese, I like stinky cheese. I had to work with some Stilton the other day, actually, yesterday.
Did you?
My supper, yeah, put it in my cauliflower cheese with some leeks.
Nice.
Very nice. But
yeah, you see where I'm going with this, right?
Yeah. I mean, listen, one thing I will say, just to kind of backtrack and kind of dig myself a bit of a hole, there is so many other drivers like Lance Stroll, just for one, that is like next to Sebastian Vettel, that deserves less of a place. But I mean, if you're seriously like, you know, pointing a gun in my head and saying answer this question, then I would say I rate Fernando over Seb, but I think both of them are still good enough to the point where I think they deserve a place on the grid. But more Sebastian Vettel, like, to answer that question.
Of course.
But I think
we like to say Lance doesn't even want to be on that grid anyway.
He does. He's just He
wants to paint.
Your dad.
No, Dad.
But the thing is with Alonso, what and Vettel, but not as much Vettel, in terms of Alonso's character, he has to just say to people like, no more Lewis questions. Stop asking me about Lewis. Because I know that he's not going into it, because we know how interviews work. Fernando Alonso doesn't go into an interview and just go, maybe he does. We don't know the questions he's being asked, but they sound like leading questions, and they want to ask it because they know they'll put a quote out about Fernando and Lewis, and it creates this. There's already this
bangs, doesn't it? Yeah.
But they know it's going to bang, and they do it, and it's just like, brother, just say no more. But he'll never do that, and then it then leads me to think, I do think that there is a lot of resentment from 2007. No matter how much these two want to say it's water under the bridge, this, that, and the other, there's a lot of resentment from that, and how that fallout happened and what that resulted in. And it's, you know, it's carried on today, and it's just.
I do want to say there's definitely respect there. There's no doubt, but it's just I think you put it perfectly, because I think the same thing. Like, I'm seeing these interviews, I'm actually reading the articles in terms of what is actually said, and I'm just thinking, why are you biting? I understand. That's what I mean in terms of the guy is authentic. Like, you can't call him a robot. Like, he does not give you the PR answer. He tells you exactly what's on his mind. He tells you the emotions, but he does have respect for Lewis. But again, there's a question actually I'll go back to in 2017 now. Lewis was a 3-time world champion at the time, and Seb was a 4-time world champion. And one of the things that he said was that it doesn't look right that seeing Sebastian with 4 and Lewis with 3.
Yeah,
and again, what he's saying is right. Like, I do think that Lewis is a better driver, and it was a bit weird seeing, Seb with 4 and Lewis with 3, but why did it need to be said? Why did it need to be said? You know what I mean? Like, he just, he's hook, line, and sinker when it comes to those media things, and he kind of wears his heart on his sleeve a little bit too much.
Yeah. But look, congrats to Alonso. Congrats to where did you know what? I can't actually remember where Seb Vettel finished. I was just about to say, where did
he finished P10?
P10. I know what he's having a good little run of races. So I don't want to get at Seb too much. Well done. I want to just shout out Esteban Ocon as well.
Esteban Ocon.
Big result in P5. Look, Lance Stroll finished 6th. So that is a good result for my guy. McLaren have fallen off. Right. So let's get into donkeys. Who wants to go first?
Okay, let's all just mutually agree that the F1 stewards can be put into this hole today.
Yeah.
Because right now news is still coming out.
Other than the guy that decided to wave double yellows for Verstappen. You, my friend, are great. I like you. You are great.
Have you seen that? They took a picture together. Have you seen that?
Didn't look awkward at all. It was so awkward. They got a picture together. Verstappen still got his mask on, and he's like hand in hand. And I'm pretty sure after the pic was taken, Verstappen walked away and called him a cunt. I'm just saying that that's
in Dutch.
Yeah. Do you know when you smile like prick, it was so awkward. But big up that steward. Big up that guy. But no, the stewards. Yeah, the stewarding. I mean, I don't know. I can't understand if it's just because of the team's just throwing so much information at them that they're not having enough time to go through everything.
But when you get a job as a steward,
you want to get a job as a steward?
No, but when you get a job as a steward,
yeah.
What does it say you will be doing, and what does it say you would already have to have known? Because it seems like these stewards have no idea what the hell's going on.
I don't know. Is
there a steward school?
Well,
is there a book they're supposed to read?
There is. There's regulations. Then there's like Aldas. You might know. I know there's a former driver that's like the driver's steward, but then after that, the stewards interchange every race.
Yeah, I think I forget what it is. I think the stewards do change, and I think that's kind of apparently to remove bias in terms so it changes every single race. So it's not just one guy handing out the decisions in every single race. It's a weird one, but I think it's just overall the consistency, how long the decisions have been taking now. I mean, they've really muddied the waters in terms of what's allowed on and off the track. And like I said, I think I said this at the beginning, they need to sit down and rewrite the rule book, or at least clarify what's allowed and what's not allowed, because they dug themselves such a massive hole with
that whole PD? The Paul di Resta?
Well,
steward.
No, he's a...
No. Max World Champion all the way. He was a steward.
Although, to be fair, he's actually been... No. I was about to say he's been better.
He's calmed down a little bit. I think he has calmed down just a little bit.
A little bit. But then there was that point in practice where Lewis was half a second up, and it was like, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that for the good of the championship.
For the good of the championship.
What do you mean? That's what we wanted to go down to the last race, surely. Right.
Yeah, I'd like to know more about this steward thing, actually.
Okay, so someone sent me this text. Shout out to who copied me into the... I say copy, I'm so old. DD, K2_ Diana. Big up DD. You are somewhere in Africa on your location. I'm assuming South Africa. Big up the South African listeners.
Big up South African listeners.
In Brazil, there were 4 stewards, but only 2 of interest. Normally, only 1 driver is represented. This person is usually an ex-F1 driver. Strangely, in Brazil, there were 2. Vitantonio Liuzzi and Robert...
Vitantonio Liuzzi.
Thank you. Vitanto Liuzzi. Oh, wait, is that the Liuzzi, the F1 driver?
Yeah, Liuzzi.
Liuzzi. I've never seen his
They have
name.
to have F1 experience. Yeah, the driver steward, it can't be like a rally driver, so they have to have F1 experience previously.
Right. And Roberto Pupo Moreno. Liuzzi is
Moreno, yeah.
Liuzzi is, thank you for these.
You're butchering their names.
But you wouldn't think I'm the guy who's make fresh pasta. Italian's awful. Liuzzi is an ex-Red Bull driver. Moreno is Nelson Piquet's best friend. That was, I'm not doing that. It's literally
PK.
in quotation marks. How is this relevant?
Ooh.
What's Verstappen's girlfriend's name again? And who's her father? Self-explanatory. The fact that unbiased stewards felt the incident didn't even warrant any investigation is worrying. Massey noted it. Stevie Wonder, the stewards looked at it and said nothing to see it as they fumble around counting Red Bull's hush money.
Conspiracy. I mean, we knew it.
It's a big conspiracy.
Let me tell you, yeah. I mean, we literally had 2 separate podcasts about Brazil, so I don't want to get into it again. But that is by far the worst decision I think I've ever seen. And
it was the fact that it wasn't even investigated, but anyway, Brazil's done. I mean,
Brazil's done. We've literally kind of,
it's still frustrating for sure.
Stewards and like the time it's taking to get stuff done, and Valtteri Bottas was put into the wrong grid slot because the provisional grid wasn't done properly, and all of this stuff. Like, we've got to sort this out. Michael Massey, you're the race director. Something's got doing. You got to start suggesting some shit because
sort it out, mate. Sort it out
because the way shit is working right now, it's not good. Speaking of, I'm gonna go next. Fuck it. How many times do I have to give this guy a donkey a day? I don't like. Honestly, people think we enjoy doing this. Yeah, I don't enjoy doing this, but. What did Athena say to me? He is like the least clutch driver ever. At no point could I ever... You know what, yeah? Valtteri Bottas, if you know when you go out, yeah? And like, let's say like you give like your keys to Valtteri Bottas. End of the night, like, hey, bro, you got my keys? Oh, no,
you got my keys.
I forgot fucking drop.
Oh, no, bro, sorry, lost them.
Lost them somewhere.
Bro.
Like, do you know what I mean? You get in the taxi. Should we order an Uber? Bro, I think I lost my phone.
I don't even have the Uber app.
I don't even have the Uber app on my phone. I think I'm blocked on Uber still. Honestly, the guy is just infuriating, and it's mad. Okay, I get so mad talking about this guy, yeah, because he's in the team that I support. You know what's mad, yeah? Mercedes are never going to follow us because of the corn that we give Valtteri. I've clocked it as well, yeah? That's why they didn't show Lewis the fan cam, because they're like, oh, these are the guys that are battering. But that's the whole thing. But I can't, Dan, I'm sorry, bro. I can't do this anymore. This guy is so undependable. All you've got to do, bro, is stay ahead of Verstappen, yeah? That's all you've got to do. Stay ahead of Verstappen. That's it. That is it. This guy, okay, you've got a bad start. Make up for it. Cool. You fucked it, but you could make up for it. You could do something. This guy, he's just on a Sunday drive. I'm so annoyed. This guy was thinking about the duty-free Louis Vuitton that he was going to get for his missus at the airport. That's what he was thinking. This guy's already thinking about going up the Burj Khalifa in Abu Dhabi, no doubt about it. Bruv, he's not, he's thinking about the sparklers in the nightclub after the end of the season. He can't be, because he can't be on the race right now, bruv. I saw Toto give him a hug. I wouldn't have, he's our stepson.
You just know, you'd have slapped him, wouldn't you?
Bruv,
bang.
Brother, are you mad? What's going on? Guys, am I
Give
crazy?
Yourself some gunshots. Give yourself some gunshots.
Thank you. I was just like,
give yourself some gunshots.
Brother, I'm just like, I can't, bro, I'm actually like, George Russell is definitely an upgrade on this. Okay, I know we were debating it before, yeah.
Is he?
He's an upgrade. Thandie, we can't keep going through this.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fair.
We can't. That's the second race in a row as well, where it's just like, start well, keep Verstappen behind you. It's 2 races in a row. He's not done it. Aldas.
He just hasn't got it, man. He just hasn't got it. It's Valtteri. We know what he is, though. He's inconsistent. Like, he'll have these races where he literally, like, the guy looks like he could be a world championship contender. Yeah. Like, he has these races, these moments where you're just like, wow. And then he has like Russia, like where he literally, like, I don't know, the blue flags were on or something. The way he let Verstappen through, like, that was terrible.
Oh, man.
I was asleep at the wheel. I don't know what was going on there, but this was even worse, by the way. Like, he didn't just let him through like a few laps later. He went from like P5 down to like P11 by the end of lap 1. Like, it was terrible. But that's what he is. Like, you've just got to take the good with the bad.
There's not enough good. This is what I've been trying to tell, man. There's not enough good.
Okay, you've got to take the bad with the crap then. That's what you want me to say?
I've just got a shit sandwich here, bruv. Like, I don't know. Thandie, he is your stepson. That has caught on. For some reason, I'm now I've been put into stepfather role, and I've spent 30 years of my life trying to not have a kid. Here I am, burdened with this fucking kid. Burdened. I'm absolutely burdened, and I have
You should have sent his ass to boarding school, like I said.
Should have.
I'm surprised you haven't left it on someone's like door at this point and just walked away.
Now, Aldas,
Christmas Day is happening.
Christmas Day.
I actually can't take it. My mouth is hurting from all of the laughing I'm doing. I can't take it anymore.
Oh my gosh! Like, guys, one day they're gonna come for us.
Yeah, they
and
are.
This is gonna be considered bullying.
Yeah,
and I'm ready to.
That's what they said. That's what they said on the thing. Yeah, when we had Tomo on, because when was Tomo on? Tomo was on for Mexico. It was the Mexico race. So obviously we had that whole section gunning, and it was so funny. Yeah, people in F1, they think once you get to a certain stage, they think they have like ownership over like what you're supposed to talk about and what you're allowed to say. And someone in the comments was like, "Oh, you guys are bullying Bottas." Tomo, I'm surprised that you agreed to be part of this. Like, brother, he's a big man, you know. Like, he was going at him as much as we. Like, what do you think?
I mean, we're all watching the same race, right? I mean, he fumbled it. Let's simple as that.
Yeah,
we're all watching the same shit. Look, when we say shit about Bottas, we want Bottas to do well. It is in our whole objective for Bottas to do well. And he's still
obviously we're pro Mercedes. Duh.
Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? So he is. Look, and he's had podiums this season. He's comfortably third in the standings. You know, for Bottas, he's doing a good job. But it's just like, you know what? If Lewis is out on his own, all this shit doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But this season, sorry, I've got a bit of my moustache in my mouth. This season, it matters, and it's just like. I had to get that out. Anyway.
There's always the next one, mate. Two more to go. Just two more.
Two more races, man. And then you know what? Let's see this man cut through traffic in an Alfa Romeo, because he's not doing it in a Mercedes.
Thinking in the back with Mazepin. That's where he's going to be.
I mean,
thinking it up in the back.
That car is the third slowest car. Maybe like, we'll see what the development is like for next year. I mean, if Ferrari develop a good engine for next year, you never know. They could have, they could jump forward a bit, but we'll see. But 2022 is the great unknown. It would be just our luck that Alfa Romeo developed the quickest car on the grid, and Valtteri Bottas goes on to win the world title. And then he's
still not overtaking anyone even then.
Yeah, no, either he qualifies in pole or he's trundling home in third or fourth. But big up Valtteri. Look, we love you. We just need more. And unfortunate puncture. I think that's another thing. He has had some bad luck. There's the wheel nut issue in Monaco. There was a bad pit stop in Bahrain, and there was another bad pit stop somewhere else as well. And obviously, and you've got maybe Spain, and then you've got this puncture, which obviously absolutely messed up his race, and he's probably on for a podium, which was the best that he was probably going to get anyway. But we really need him in between Verstappen and Lewis, because it could potentially go into Saudi Arabia equal, and we'll see from there. Aldas,
I've just got to really quickly say, I've got to go in a little bit. That's the only thing.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, let's we've spoken far too much. We've said everything. Do you have a donkey, really quickly?
I mean, to be honest, I'm going to go a little bit in terms of the teams and the Tyres, because all of them pushed it. I know this sounds like a strange one, but the teams are kind of donkeys in the sense that Pirelli told them that the one stop is going to be dangerous. Pirelli told them that it was going to be right on the edge. And who was it? I mean, the Williams, both of them had, Williams, Lando Norris got a slow puncture as well. He was actually unlucky. He would have been on for a really good result, maybe even a podium. And then Valtteri as well. All of the teams were pushing it so much. And I feel like, it was. I mean, it's just what happens, isn't it? They only have themselves to blame. I do think that Pirelli maybe got a little bit wrong. And it's a little bit difficult coming into a new track. And this was also a late addition to the calendar as well. But the teams, I mean, they have to take a bit of an L in terms of the some of the gambles that they made on the one stops.
100%. It felt a bit Baku-ish, I'm not going to lie. Although that was Pirelli's fault, but and I guess the season in Silverstone where they were just blowing up all over the place, it's not good, but they did.
We don't want to see it. We don't want to see that at all.
You don't want to see it. It's the highest level of motorsport. We shouldn't be seeing punctures because they're going over curbs or because they've been going on too long. Guys, quickly, Aldas, gun to your head, who's winning the title?
Maximilian Verstappen.
We don't like them things there whatsoever, but you can't.
I'm kicked off. I'm never coming back.
That is the second and last time you're on the show.
And last time he's allowed on.
No, you know what? We hear it, man. It's close. I don't agree with you. I think the momentum.
He could win it next race as well. That's it. He could win it in Saudi.
Yeah, look, if something crazy does happen, and look, it's a street circuit, walls, fast. They're saying it's Monza speed with Monaco configuration, like with the walls and everything. So, God, and it's just finished. They're literally just finishing it now. So, God knows that. I think I've said that we're due one more crazy race, and I think a circuit like that, we're bound to get a safety car, who knows what could happen. But guys, Aldas, you have been an incredible guest. Oh my Gideon. I love having you on, bro. Absolutely love you.
Listen, mate, I mean, I'm only as good as my host, so that's where it's at. Thank you so much for having me on, as always, Thandie, bringing the knowledge, the prophecies, and the absolute fire. And obviously, Nyasha, shout out to you as well. This has been a long time. I think France was the last time I came on here, but
France, it's France. It's mad. It feels like we're in like a completely different space now. I know that you hit 100K after that as well, and congratulations on all your success and all the stuff you're doing
so much.
With Palate. It's like you're taking motorsport content to the next level. I think that can only benefit all of us in the space. So thank you very much. Thandie, any last words before we skedaddle?
No.
Cool. Thank you for
keep
watching.
living it up, Thandie. Keep living it up over there in America.
Enjoy America, Thandie. Enjoy Thanksgiving. I know you're gonna have a Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving's gonna be fun.
I just want to say I'm really thankful to have you as a co-host. That's my Thanksgiving pledge to you.
I'm really thankful for all the Quick Stop F1 people.
Yeah,
and the
love
listeners.
you guys.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to you guys. You guys are fucking hilarious. Subscribers, subscribe. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Follow all of that stuff. Like the video, please. We'll see you after Saudi Arabia, and then I think we're going to do a Abu Dhabi preview and an Abu Dhabi post. Thandie doesn't even know that. I just told her now. So, but I think we should. So, but we'll see depending on availability. But thank you very much, guys, and we'll see you after Abu Dhabi. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.